Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Welcome to this very special edition of Atlanta Business Radio. We are broadcasting live from Georgia State University's E&I program. Lee, this is going to be a fantastic day. This is our first episode. We've got a studio full. We've got paparazzi. We better get this show on the road. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast. First up, Dr. Leonard Jackson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here with my wonderful students to share some information with Radio X Nation. I'm joined by my students Benie, Tim, and James.
Well, Dr. Jackson, before we get too far into things, can you talk a little bit about your role here at the university and how you work with the entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurship program?
Absolutely. I'm a professor here at Georgia State University. I've been here for the past 6 years. I work with the entrepreneurship program as a professor, but I've also been involved in the curriculum development as well.
So now, were you always involved, or were you an entrepreneur before, or you've always been in academics?
Not at all. I was born an entrepreneur. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. I had my own business, still have my own business. That's part of who I am. I will never stop being an entrepreneur.
Now, do you think that perspective of having made a payroll and having worked like that gives you a different perspective than maybe somebody who has come through academia and not have done those things?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I know what it takes based on my experience. You have to make sure you can meet your payroll. Mm-hmm. As an entrepreneur, sometimes we're challenged with just a simple thing as meeting the payroll. So I've gone through the trenches, and for me, it's great because I have great stories I can share with my students as an entrepreneur, but also as an academic.
Right. And your stories are, kind of scar tissue stories, not hypothetical stories, right?
Scar tissue stories, stories from the school of hard knocks,
right?
Which I tie right back into the theoretical concepts.
So now, in your classes, what types of things do you talk about and teach?
So we teach our students the whole entrepreneurial process. There are 6 stages to the whole process. And what we do is we walk students through the process. We start off with teaching them how to identify opportunities, how to develop a great business concept, how to find resources, how to leverage resources, how to implement all their strategies, and how to manage their business. Mm-hmm. And if the business grows, we also teach them how to harvest the value that they've created in the business.
So now the people who are taking the class, are these people that are aspiring entrepreneurs, or are they actually they have some businesses?
A combination of both. We have students who actually have their own business. So they come to my classes quite often, and my goal is to help them just refine their business. Mm-hmm. But also we have a lot of students who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs. So we give them all the skills that we can share with them to make them successful, but also to minimize their chances of failure.
Right,
yes.
Because even in the best cases, it's a dicey road.
It's a very dicey road. It's sometimes, I like to call it a crapshoot. You win some, you lose some. So our goal is to give students all the skills that will minimize their chances of failure and conversely increases their chances of success.
Now, when you're working with students, and you've gone through the process before there was a study of entrepreneurship.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
So you had to learn the hard way. Now, what's the benefit in your mind of going through an academic or university level entrepreneurship program as opposed to doing what you did of just figuring it out as you went?
Yes, that's a great question. So had I known years ago that entrepreneurship is a process, I would not have made some of the mistakes that I made. Mm-hmm. So these students are very fortunate today in that we show them all the various processes that they should follow to be very successful. For me at the time, just starting out, it was somewhat chaotic.
Right.
There was no roadmap. There was no plan.
You were making things up as you went.
I was just making things up as I moved along. And in the process, you lose some resources.
Right.
You lose some resources.
And those resources could be time or they can be money, right?
Combination of
or
both.
People.
You're absolutely correct. Yes.
So now, by going through this more kind of structured formula, are you finding that people are getting a better chance at success? Are you seeing kind of the fruits of that labor?
Yes, we're seeing some of the fruits of our labor, our efforts. We're relatively new here with our program, but we're starting to see some significant successes where students from our program are starting their own businesses and they're moving along, they're flourishing as well.
Now, as part of the program, is there a chance for them to kind of either job shadow or have internships at different organizations, or is this something that they got to kind of figure out on their own through their own organizations?
Yes. As part of the program, last year we implemented an internship program. We're of the belief that you don't learn to be an entrepreneur in the classroom.
Just by reading a book?
Not at all. You got to go out there and learn from the best, but also practice in a live environment. So last year we created our first entrepreneurship internship program, and I have with me here our first intern, Benie.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
So Benie, tell us about what attracted you to the program.
I have to say that at first I wanted to be an entrepreneur for very selfish reasons. I chose entrepreneurship particularly because I always wanted to be my own boss, and I just love the idea of leading people and, being a leader. But as years went by, I realized that my motivation has changed, and today I would say that I chose entrepreneurship because I realized that it's more about just being my own boss. I think it's about making the world a better place, and I know it sounds generic, but I truly believe that entrepreneurship is not only about bringing solutions to the issues society faces, but I think it's about bringing solutions to issues people don't even know they have. So that's what attracted me to entrepreneurship.
And then what compelled you to go for this internship?
Well, Did
you know Dr. Jackson before?
Yes,
and you still did it, even though you knew him before.
Anyway,
I think he's a very, very great professor because he pushes you to know the concepts and apply them in real life. I wanted to go beyond the classroom and actually apply what I learned in the class, and this internship did that for me.
So now what are some of your responsibilities and what have you learned so far?
I currently do market research, competitor analysis, and I also apply for trademarks and stuff like that.
For whose organization?
It's TQ Intelligence.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you found that opportunity through Georgia State?
Yes.
And then you went there, you had an interview, I would imagine?
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone, and he was like, sure.
Was that easy?
Yeah, it was very easy.
Dr. Jackson's that easy, right?
Yes,
Pick up the phone. Sometimes it is that easy, right? Because a lot of people don't take that proactive step of picking up the phone.
That's correct. That's correct, yes.
So I have to say that I had to push a little bit. I had to send emails and reminders. And
resilience, that's another characteristic of an entrepreneur, right?
That's correct.
So now you went over there, and did they have a position, a formal position, or they kind of figured it out as they went?
They created a position
just for you.
Yeah.
And then your superpower is market research?
Well, I would say that it's more finding out stuff about competitors and all of that, yeah.
And did they say, okay, here's the checklist, do these 5 things, or did they say, hey, figure this out, and you had to go figure it out?
They say figure it out, yeah. And I have to Google stuff and find out about myself. Yeah.
Right. And then how do you know if you're doing a good job? Like, what's something that you do that gets them high-fiving you at the end of the day?
They usually tell me, and if my boss needs more from me, he'll tell me I need more on this. But he's never too hard on me. He teaches me how to do it most of the time.
Now, so are you enjoying it?
I am. It's a great learning opportunity because I would have never imagined that I would learn so much in a short amount of time,
So now, is there any advice you would share for young people that are contemplating maybe going the entrepreneur route?
I will tell them to not be afraid to fail, because I was very scared of failure. I didn't want to make mistakes. But as we learn in the program, you have to fail forward. And if you're resilient, you learn from your mistakes and you try again. So that's my biggest advice for them. And don't be scared to ask questions also, because that's something I didn't do a lot. And I think it helped me to this day.
Now, Dr. Jackson, is that a skill maybe the young people don't have coming in? Is that resilience and that willingness to fail?
Yes, and that's something we try to SOG. We try to get rid of that as they go through our program. What we try to do is develop within our students what we like to call an entrepreneurial mindset. So entrepreneurship becomes a way of thinking, a way of acting, and part of it is to be tenacious, part of it to be proactive, take calculated risk and move forward. So in our program, it's highly hands-on. So our students, even the ones who are somewhat shy, we force them to get out of their shell. We force them to understand that, quote-unquote, failure is part of the process. But I tell my students, I don't even call it failure. I call it a learning opportunity.
That's right.
Yes.
Now, is there anything that can be done for students at a younger age that would help them just have a thicker skin and be tougher in this area, do you think?
Oh, yes. I think exposing students to entrepreneurial concept, risk-taking, and understanding that failure is part of life, and if failure is not really failure when you're young, it's a learning opportunity. If that can be implemented, for example, early, like in high schools, by the time they reach college, they're well-calculated risk takers.
Right. Now, do you find that some of the students that go through this may not start their own business, but they'll work for other organizations? Do you find that this entrepreneurial mindset kind of transfers to the larger enterprise organizations as well?
Yes. So there's this concept that I impart on my students. I keep telling them I want them to become entrepreneurial managers, so they can transfer those skills, not to just start a business or grow a business for themselves, but also to engage in corporate entrepreneurship, join organizations and be corporate entrepreneurs, see opportunities for cooperation. As a matter of fact, I tell my students that that's a way they can position themselves when they're looking for jobs, that they have an entrepreneurial mindset and they can join the organizations that they choose and become an entrepreneurial leader, an entrepreneurial manager within those organizations.
Now, do you find that more and more larger organizations find that attractive in an employee?
Absolutely. Gone are the days when companies would hire individuals to work and to sit and work in a cubicle. Okay, you're an accountant. That's all you're going to do.
Right, like cognitive machine people, they're replaced by machines, right?
Yes, those days are gone. Those days are gone. So companies, forward-thinking companies, want students to act like a manager but think like an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. And then that's something that the program teaches here at GSU.
Yes. Our overarching goal is to infuse that mindset, that entrepreneurial, managerial mindset in our students.
Now, speaking of students, you got a couple right here now. You have Tim and Chidi. You want to introduce them and tell us why they're here?
Absolutely. Tim and Chidi are two of our rock stars. They're going to represent Georgia State at an upcoming competition. They were selected based on through a competitive process, and they won. They won here. So now we're going to showcase them on a bigger stage. So without further ado, Tim and
I guess I'll go first.
All right, Tim. So tell us about your venture. What are you and Chidi up to?
So Chidi and I have started a project about 1.5 years ago. We're creating a mobile app, and basically it's a digital accountability and authentic social platform for people who want to achieve goals.
Like, give me an example.
So what we do is we connect people who have similar goals through a function we call a goal group. And this goal could be anything a person desires. So give an example.
What's like lose weight?
Yeah, it could definitely be lose weight. Could
talk on the radio confidently.
Absolutely. Feeling little butterflies right now, but it's all good. But it could be any goal you want. It could be meditation. It could be reading. It could be health and fitness. And
so, what was the first goal? Which one of you, Tim or Chidi, had a goal that you were the beta tester? All right, Chidi, jump in there.
Your question was, what was our first goal as a company?
You had an idea, nSpire, what is it? nSpireMe.io, right? That's the...
Our Instagram tag is inspireme.io, but the app name is Inspire Me.
Okay, so Inspire Me was an idea.
Correct.
You guys were at a bar probably drinking and came up with this.
We're actually not old enough.
Not old enough to drink, but you were somewhere
Right.
And then you said, hey, why don't we make an app that helps people achieve their goals?
Well, it's a funny story, actually. It started off as an app that was just giving people incentive to do whatever someone wanted to make them do. So whether that be a business that wanted to make them engage in a certain activity, or if a business wanted to promote a certain product or service, it was incentive for the people to engage with that product or service. And then that kind of evolved into what it is now, being an app that helps people achieve their goals and giving them incentive to do that.
Okay, so then what was the first thing that you tested this to see if it would work or not?
We actually were blessed enough to be able to beta test here at Georgia State. We're a part of Launch GSU, which is our on-campus incubator. They implemented a platform for their students where they were receiving points in return for going to events that would help them engage in entrepreneurship activities. So that whole entire platform was run through our app.
And then which one of you was the coder?
Neither of us, actually.
Neither?
We have a third partner, our CTO.
The CTO.
His name is Isaiah. He's actually a high school dropout. He's working a full-time job right now. He's 18 years old. Shout out to Isaiah. You're a boss.
And then, so how'd you find him?
That was such a funny, literally pure luck. So, in the first stage of our company, me and Chidi understood that we needed someone to code this app and be the technician. So, me being the brute person I am, I just started asking people if they know how to code. And I met this person named Samson, and then we found out that he wasn't he wasn't able. He was a cap. Yeah, he wasn't able to do what we needed him to do. So he put us on to another person, which is Isaiah. And that happened because he was actually trying to come to our meeting and make fun of our business idea because he thinks he's all high and mighty. But he ended up joining us and helping us create something beautiful. And
now, how did you, okay, so now you got the third guy, and he's the key guy, right? Because it's one thing to have an idea. There's lots of ideas out there. But now to execute and to make it a usable idea, that's where the rubber hits the road.
Right.
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 So you needed this person desperately because otherwise it's just you two talking about this great idea you have.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Erica Bracey, our advisor at Launch GSU, she said something that really stuck to me. She said that with a business, you need 3 fundamental things. You need a visionary, you need a technician, and you need a manager, all to make a business run. And those are 3 things that we have currently right now, and that's why I believe we've gone so far.
Okay, so now he starts building the app, and you guys are yelling at him, telling him what to do, right? Some version of that?
I mean, we work very well together. So, I mean, he's had his own creativity put into the app as well. It's not like we just came to him with an idea and said, just code this. You know, we have our times where we all come together. We have nice brainstorming sessions where we're like, okay, how do you want this app to carry out our mission, and what's the most efficient way for it to do that? So Isaiah's perspective is one that's really grounded and technical, which is what we need. And then Tim and I can come in and kind of apply the overall vision for what we're trying to do with Inspire Me.
Okay, so now is it live now? What stage are you at with the app?
Like I said, we just finished beta testing with Launch GSU, actually. Right now, we're kind of halting on the development side of things, so it's not going to be live for quite a bit of time. We're not going to have another beta testing run until next fall. Right now, we're just focusing on this pitch competition that we have coming up in the next 2 days. And then after that, we're going to be focusing a bit on marketing and then pre-stage development. But
it's usable right now.
It is. It's usable.
We have a proof of concept version, which is fully functional. It's on a website, so it's not optimal for retention, but we do have a functional version.
And we do use the app ourselves as well to make sure that we're keeping ourselves accountable in terms of what we're trying to do as individuals and for our company.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically I want to lose weight and I want to use this app. Walk me through what happens.
Sure. So if you want to lose weight, you obviously have to break down that goal into tinier steps, and our app is a great way to help you realize what.
All right, so I go to Inspire Me, and then
you go to Inspire Me.
What happens?
You create a goal group, which is the main function of our app, and let's just say, in order to lose weight, you need to do high intensity training, HIIT. Okay. So you make a goal group to do that HIIT 3 days a week, and you can even invite your friends that want to lose weight with you.
Is that an important component, that there's a social element of this?
Absolutely, because of the accountability features. It's one of our most important aspects in our app.
Exactly. So once you've created that goal group to perform that HIIT function 3 times a week, once you're inside the goal group, there's a leaderboard to keep you competitive and keep you accountable to meet that goal. And then there's also a chat where you can talk to the other members in that Go group.
Now, is that chat kind of where they yell at me and talk smack and tease me?
Absolutely not. We try to have it as a social atmosphere around people achieving their goals. So we would like to see it as people encouraging each other to achieve the goal.
But I mean, obviously, if you're a high school student and you're in a Go group to do 50 push-ups a day, you're going to talk a bit of smack to your friend that can only do 25.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's
So is there a moderator or is it self-moderated?
In the future, we will have a group leader. So yes, they will.
All right. So now you have this app. How are you monetizing it? Is there a fee for the app, or is this advertising? How are you monetizing?
So currently we have 3 ways that we get revenue. We have this thing called business-to-business contracts. We have premium membership fees, and then we have ad revenue. So what business-to-business contracts are is our way of allowing a business to increase their customer engagement. And we do this by increasing the engagement between the customer and the business, as well as between the customers of that business.
To give an example, imagine Home Depot, a do-it-yourself store. They want to create a goal group on nSpire to do 1 DIY project a month for their users. And inside that goal group, they can even incentivize things such as a $50 gift card to Home Depot. In the white space, they can advertise products necessary to create the product, like paint, tools, and etc. And this benefits all 3 parties. It benefits Inspire because we're getting money per user. So let's just say they have 400 users in that goal group. We would get 25 cents per user. And it benefits Home Depot, because they're increasing their customer engagement as well as marketing. And then the users themselves, they're already doing something they love, which is do-it-yourself projects. Now, Inspire Me's ability to adapt to any organization's mission while providing them with incentive and goal tracking and setting is why we're so scalable.
I really like this, and what I'm thinking about us. What if we want to inspire people to share their story? Right? And so we start a group like that. We contract, what'd you call it, B2B?
B2B contracts.
We had like this B2B contract, and we inspired people to share their story, and one of the things we could provide is access to the platform.
Exactly.
So what I could envision with you guys could have what we call a submission goal group. So what you guys could do is set a goal group to have people share their story, like you said, and you guys can have a vetting system where you see which ones you like, and you bring that person on air by like choosing which person has the best one.
Well, can we have a dashboard that the community chooses?
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Upvote the person.
Exactly. So in each Go group, you have the option to like and share whatever you see, whatever content you see in that Go group. So yeah, that would definitely be a possibility.
All right, weigh in on this, Benie. Is this a good idea? What's the deal here? What do you think?
I think it's a great idea, especially the fact that you guys are not like in one specific market. You can work with anyone at any time. I love that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Now, now you mentioned GSU helped at the beginning stage. Are they still involved?
GSU will always help us.
So, very much so involved, yes. Like Tim mentioned before, our advisor, Erica Bracey, has been a great help. She's actually the one that connected us with the E&I, which is why we were able to pitch in front of them, which is what allowed us to be able to be participating in this pitch competition, which is where we'll hopefully win $25,000.
So this is the Georgia Inventure Prize. That's a state of Georgia, right?
Yes, it will be hosted by Georgia Tech.
Right, it's at Georgia Tech, but it's a statewide.
Yes, it's Georgia State only, like Georgia, as in
Georgia
the state
colleges,
of Georgia,
right?
Yeah, Georgia colleges.
And then this even got on your radar because of your affiliation with Georgia State. Like you didn't know about this prior to that, or did you?
Yeah, I never heard of this competition before.
Right. And have you ever done a pitch competition before?
No, we haven't. This is our first.
Actually, we
have.
Well, you did the Georgia State one, right?
Yeah, but
we had to do one in order to be
qualify,
pre-qualified.
right.
So yes, we did do one.
But in terms of one where there's like an actual monetary reward, this is our first one.
And then the prize, is it straight up cash and services, or do you have to give up a piece of equity in order to?
I've watched some film from previous years, and what I saw was the top 2 winners, first and second prize, they get a free patent. And then they also get that, I think first place gets $25K and then second place gets $10K, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a People's Choice Award.
Now, Dr. Jackson, what do you think of their idea? Is this the first you've heard of it, or you've been involved with them?
I've been involved somewhat. I was part of the team that...
He asked us really tough questions.
Yes. So they had to pitch to us, and I was really hard on them.
All right.
I was hard on everyone else. But what I like is that they're actually practicing some of what we teach here.
Right.
One of the things we try to teach or we teach here is that entrepreneurs need to leverage resources. And what they've done is that they've gone outside to leverage the technological resources to execute their idea. And, one of the things we try to teach is if you partner, you don't have to make it.
Right.
So they have selected their partners quite well to develop the application for them. And they're the visionary, but they don't have the necessary skill sets to execute the application. So they've gone out, leverage the resources, and partner with their third wheel to this whole application.
And not just our CTO. We have so many people that support us. Other students, I like to shout out our CCC team, our content committee. So we just have a lot of people that help us in all aspects, marketing, just giving us business intelligence. Shout out to our coach, our startup coach, Dave. Yesterday helped us pivot our whole business. So we have a lot of resources, and we're very coachable. So we plan on just being coachable, adapting, and marginally changing to become successful.
Now, Benie mentioned that something that was important to her was to kind of have a bigger why. Like at first she was it's about me and maybe making money or getting materialistic gain. And now in her mind, at least, she's now open to a larger why to have an impact on the community and more people. Right. Is there a bigger why in your app, or is this just about making money?
There's definitely there's a huge why, and then there's a bigger why. So our bigger why is helping college students. And our first goal is to help 50,000 college students achieve 2 goals in the year 2020, one professional goal and one personal goal. And we want them to do that using our app. The biggest why is we want to really just change the way people look at how they manifest their own success, because everyone knows that they need to be creating goals, but we're all human, so it's hard to actually do the things that we know we should be doing. So we want to make Inspire Me a household name so that people will take their own success into their own hands. So that's the big vision for what we're trying to do with Inspire Me.
Now, a big gap for individual humans typically is that they break promises to themselves, but they keep promises to other people more times than not.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some studies out there that we can quote that give us evidence towards accountability relationships being successful for goals.
So one of those would be, just if you're curious, is we actually referenced in our pitch deck the Association of Child Development. They actually found that accountability can increase the chances of completing your goal by up to 95%. There's also a Harvard study that evidenced the importance of actually writing down your goals. They found that out of the 3% of Harvard Business School graduates that wrote down their goals, that same 3% ended up making 10 times more money than the other 97% that did not write down their goals. So we're really trying to take advantage of the fact that both accountability and actually understanding what your goal is and how you're going to achieve that goal is very, very important in terms of how you're going to actually become successful.
Going back to the Harvard study, our vision for the future is to have that 3% go up to 10%, 25%, and even 50% in the next coming years, because we believe that our app is a key to a better future, both individually and collectively.
So if somebody wanted to learn more about the app, you said there is a web page. It may not be ready for prime time yet, but
if you would like to learn more about the app, you can email me or Chidi. But right now we're internal.
Keeping it on the down low.
Absolutely,
and then this event, this prize competition is tomorrow. It's this week.
It starts tomorrow. That will be the preliminary rounds, which will determine if we go forward.
How many teams are competing?
19 teams, 4 finalists.
So it goes from 19 to 4?
Actually, five finalists.
Goes from 19 to 5, and then there'll be a winner, second place, and then people's...
Yes. So first place, second place, and People's Choice Award. And then there's also a Social Impact Award, which...
You're going for that, too. You're going for all of the prizes, right?
We're going for everything we can get.
If you're going to show up there, you might as well go for everything that's available.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Jackson, this must make you proud, right? This is kind of what you're doing this for, right?
Absolutely. We're very proud of our students. And, both Tim and Chidi, they epitomize exactly what we're trying to achieve here. But it's also a part of what we like to call our co-curricular activities. We encourage students to step outside of what we're teaching in the curriculum and engage in events like the ones that they're going to participate in.
Right, because you want to get it out of their head into some real world setting.
Absolutely.
It's about applying what
right?
you learned.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's an important distinction that a lot of entrepreneurs and business people at all stages are a little nervous about, right? Because it sounds good. When it's in my head, it's perfect.
Right.
But until I ask somebody or I try to sell somebody something or I go to one of those
I actually have a quote
companies, go
that
ahead.
I'd like to say. I made it myself.
Is it the one?
It's our company quote.
Okay.
Success is ambition coupled with the ability to assess marginal changes. And what that means is you must have a vision of what your success looks like, but you must be able to adapt to marginal changes on the way. Because there's going to be obstacles in the way and there's going to be pivots, but you need to be on your feet and ready to
well, there's a
adapt.
book out there that's called The Obstacle is the Way. So the obstacles aren't in the way. They are part of the way.
It is. And then the other good thing is that both Tim and Chidi mentioned our incubator. The fact that these students can develop a concept here, test it, and take it to competition, and further test it before they launch it, that's great.
Right.
That's great.
You get all the bad ideas out of the way, right?
Absolutely. Very early before more resources are invested in it. Yes.
So now, what's next for you? How do you see this program here at Georgia State evolving? Yeah, I know it's relatively new.
It's relatively new, but we want to infuse entrepreneurship right across campus, not just this program here. This program is the nucleus for entrepreneurship, but we want all of Georgia State students to develop an entrepreneurial mindset so that they can be entrepreneurial in everything that they're doing, their personal lives, business, in their communities. We want our students to have that entrepreneurial mindset. So that's our goal here. Our goal is to grow beyond this unit. And every student that walks into Georgia State should leave with an entrepreneurial mindset.
It sounds like they need some goal groups.
I know.
Yes.
and you're talking about across disciplines. Like
Absolutely.
This could be the nursing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be business. It doesn't have to be marketing. It doesn't have to be entrepreneur. It should be just integrated into the entire program.
You're absolutely correct. And we're starting to have some significant success. When I look in my classes, it's a collection of students from all disciplines across campus. And that's what we want to
And that's
achieve
really
here.
where the magic can happen, where you get these cross disciplines kind of connecting dots together and
Yes.
creating new things that nobody could have imagined individually.
Absolutely. We have all these brilliant young minds, creative minds, coming together from all different disciplines and coming up with creative ideas.
Now, how do you kind of instill in these young people the premise that business is good, that business can be a force for good in the world when there's a lot of pressures out there and a lot of noise about how business people are greedy and they're exploiting things and they're taking advantage of people? There's a lot of kind of misconceptions, I believe, about business and being a business person that makes it somehow less than a noble pursuit. How do you kind of educate the people and inspire them to believe that, to me, business is good and business is the catalyst for good in the world?
Absolutely. So our students today, what I've noticed over the past, I would say 5 years, students come to us with a very solid social mindset. And when they're developing their business ideas, their concepts, what I keep finding is that they come to us prepared to do social good with their ventures. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's amazing. So for us, we don't even have to teach them that, business should be done for the good of mankind.
Right.
They come to us prepared. So I think it's a sociocultural trend that's going on right now where students want to develop business, and at the core is a social idea. They want to use the business to solve some social problem.
I also like to piggyback what Benie said earlier about having entrepreneurship be a unique thing that you can offer to society, because I truly believe that we are all unique in our own ways and we can all offer something different. And through the vehicle of entrepreneurship, we can offer that in a form of a business. And it doesn't have to be ruthless or anything. It can be just something that you want to solve for humanity. And at the end of the day, entrepreneurship, business in general, you're solving problems. So use those problems to solve something good and something that can benefit us all.
And I think it's definitely more rewarding.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, are you finding that amongst your peers? Are they, when you say, I want to start a business, I want to do this, are they saying that's fantastic, or are they looking at you as some kind of evil person that's trying to be greedy and just care about yourself?
I think most of them are supportive. They're like, yeah, go for it, but they don't really know how to get there. Nobody really knows how to get there, so you have to figure it out for yourself. That's why I always say, like, I put one foot in front of the other while not forgetting where I'm going. Like, if I have my goal in mind, I'm going to get there, but I don't necessarily know how. So that's the main issue. We don't know how to get there. So that's why I think this program is really helpful, because they give you the steps you need to take to get to where you want to be.
And then, Dr. Jackson, ultimately you want this GSU community of alumni and future entrepreneurs to kind of be collaborating and kind of mixing and matching and just doing lots of things that they can't even imagine today, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it starts in the classroom, as we discussed earlier. We have I like to say it's a melting pot of disciplines. And going back to the whole social aspect, one of the reasons why our students are so strong in developing socially responsible ventures is the fact that a significant portion of our students come from the social entrepreneurship area as well. So that helps to permeate throughout.
Because that's part of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute is specialty in social entrepreneurship.
There's a separate school for that, but we work very closely. So we want to start here, but we want our alumni to keep connected with us. And we have a lot of strategies in place to make sure that we're tracking them, we're seeing what they're doing, we're supporting what they're doing, but also they know that they can always come back to us for help.
Now, what about the fact that I think GSU may be uniquely qualified to be doing a venture like this because of the diversity of the students?
Yes, that's correct. We're very fortunate here. I've taught in several different universities, and I think one of the strengths of Georgia State is that we have a wide any aspect of diversity that you can think of. We have it here.
Exactly.
And that adds a lot of richness to the classroom, but from an entrepreneurial standpoint, we have a lot of richness as well.
Tim, you got something to say about that? It seems like you have a lot to say about a lot of things.
I love talking, by the way. Rich is in the mind. It's not monetary. It's not quantified. It's a mindset. That's all I got to say.
All right. So, Benie, if somebody wanted to learn more about what you're up to, are you up for meeting new people? And how can people reach out to you? Are you on LinkedIn? Or?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn, and my name is Benie Amani, so they can find me there.
And Tim and Chidi, are you on LinkedIn? Not yet.
I am on LinkedIn.
One of you is?
Tim is on LinkedIn, and we're working on getting our actual company on
there?
LinkedIn as well, yeah.
All right. And Dr. Jackson, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, they can find you here at the university? Absolutely.
Just search for Leonard Jackson on Georgia State's website, or you can reach me at ljackson58@gsu.edu.
And then if there's high school students out there that are thinking about coming to GSU and learning about entrepreneurship, what's the best resource for them to learn more about the program?
So we have, the university has a program called Panther Preview. And we here in the entrepreneurship unit, we participate in Panther Preview. So we invite high schoolers twice per year to our campus, so they can arrange it through their guidance counselors. And someone, myself or one of my colleagues, will go and talk to high school students. But also, they can invite us. We'll be happy to come to their high schools.
Now, what about companies that want to get involved with GSU and participate in maybe some of these internship programs or just any of the other activities as maybe sharing their kind of experiences with the students? Are there opportunities for that as well?
Oh, absolutely. We really want companies to reach out to us, and we can provide them with some top quality interns. They can contact me or Jackie Davis. Jackie Davis, who is very instrumental in making those connections for us here at the Institute.
Well, good stuff. Thank you all for being part of the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
Appreciate it.
All right. This is Lee Cantor for Stone Payton. We will see you all next time on GSU's Entrepreneurship Innovation Institute radio show.